There are drivers who appear in your mirrors, and then there are drivers whose presence you feel before they're even there. Max Verstappen belongs to the second category. Long before the move is made, long before the braking zone arrives, something changes. Rivals hesitate, lines tighten, decisions become rushed, not because Verstappen is reckless, but because he is precise in a way that removes escape routes before drivers realize they're trapped. Most fans reduce his dominance to machinery, the fastest car, the best team, the right timing. It's an easy explanation, and a comfortable one, because if the car is the reason, then the gap feels temporary. The reality is far more uncomfortable. Formula One has never seen a driver who combines consistency, instinct, and aggression at this level, across this many conditions, for this long. Verstappen doesn't just win races, he controls how races unfold. He dictates rhythm, pressure, and psychology in ways that don't show up on timing screens. This breakdown isn't about hype. It's about understanding why his rivals so often look defeated before the race is decided. Because when you strip away the noise, Verstappen's advantage isn't speed alone. It's how completely he understands what a car is capable of, and how far beyond comfort it can be pushed without crossing the line into chaos. And that understanding didn't appear overnight. It was built long before Formula One, long before podiums, long before championships. It was forged in an environment where racing wasn't a hobby, it was a language spoken daily, where mistakes weren't softened, where instinct mattered more than instruction. Verstappen didn't grow into pressure, he grew up inside it. That foundation explains why he doesn't search for stability like most drivers. He searches for responsiveness. He wants a car that reacts instantly, even if it feels nervous, even if it feels unstable, because instability doesn't scare him, it informs him. And once you understand that, everything else about his driving begins to make sense. To understand why Verstappen thrives where others struggle, you have to go back to how his instincts were formed. Most professional drivers are taught how to drive before they understand why a car behaves the way it does. Their technique is shaped by coaching, repetition, and structured learning. Verstappen's path was different. From an early age, he wasn't taught how to race, he was forced to feel it. Grip, balance, momentum, consequence. Every mistake had immediate feedback, not theoretical, physical. That environment produces something rare, instinct that operates faster than conscious thought. By the time Verstappen reached junior categories, this instinct was already visible. He attacked gaps others wouldn't consider real. He committed to lines that looked impossible until they worked. Not out of recklessness, but because his internal model of grip was more accurate than those around him. This carried forward as he climbed the ladder. When Verstappen arrived in Formula One, he didn't need years to adjust. He didn't soften his approach. Instead, Formula One adjusted around him. Engineers noticed it immediately. His inputs were cleaner at the limit, his corrections smaller, his confidence higher in moments where data suggested caution. If you enjoy this kind of long-form Formula One analysis, the kind that questions where the sport is heading, not just who's winning, make sure you're subscribed. New videos like this are coming, and they connect directly to what we're discussing here. What separated him wasn't bravery, it was trust. In himself and in the car's response. Most drivers want a stable rear end and predictable balance. Verstappen prefers a sharp front and is comfortable managing a rear that moves beneath him. Where others see instability, he sees information. That preference reshaped Red Bull's philosophy. The car didn't make Verstappen faster. Verstappen made the car usable, and the evidence is uncomfortable. Teammates struggled. Same machinery, same resources, different results. Again and again, drivers found themselves unable to extract performance from a car Verstappen seemed to unlock effortlessly. That isn't coincidence. It's compatibility between instinct and engineering. And nowhere is that compatibility more visible than in the way Verstappen approaches corners. If you studied Verstappen's onboard footage without context, you might think he was breaking rules that don't exist. His corner entries often defy textbook instruction. Instead of classic V-shaped lines, he favors wider, more rounded trajectories. He rotates the car early, keeps the nose tight, and fires out with aggressive traction. It looks risky. It isn't. This approach allows him to control slip angle precisely, maximizing exit speed while minimizing time spent waiting for the car to settle. It's not about drama, it's about efficiency. Under braking, the advantage becomes even clearer. Verstappen consistently brakes later than his rivals, yet remains stable. That combination shouldn't exist. Late braking usually invites lockups or understeer, but Verstappen uses braking as a rotation tool, turning the car while others are still decelerating. To the driver ahead, it feels impossible. I have a question for you, and I want you to answer it in the comments. Do you think Max Verstappen dominates this era because Formula One evolved for him, or because he's the kind of driver who forces Formula One to evolve around him? Drop your thoughts below. I read every comment, and I'll personally reply to some of you. One moment, they're on the racing line. The next, a Red Bull appears where physics says it shouldn't. But Verstappen isn't gambling, he's calculating. What makes this truly rare is that this aggression doesn't destroy his tires. Despite appearances, he manages degradation exceptionally well. He understands temperature windows, micro-throttle inputs, and when to back off without losing time. Aggression and restraint rarely coexist. In Verstappen, they do. But raw technique alone doesn't explain why he adapts faster than anyone else when races fall apart. Formula One races are rarely perfect. Weather changes, strategies fail, safety cars reset order, pressure multiplies. For many drivers, these moments are threats. For Verstappen, they are opportunities. He reads conditions faster than most. Grip changes don't surprise him, they confirm what he already felt. On restarts, he positions the car to control space rather than speed. He forces rivals into defensive decisions they didn't plan to make. This race intelligence compounds his technical advantage. When regulations change, this adaptability becomes decisive. In 2022, when new aerodynamic rules reset performance expectations, Verstappen didn't resist the change. He absorbed it, adjusted his style, and then dominated. The lesson was clear. The car doesn't define his speed, his learning curve does. And that adaptability feeds directly into the most powerful weapon he has: psychological pressure. Verstappen doesn't intimidate rivals by being unpredictable. He intimidates them by being inevitable. Drivers know that defending aggressively invites mistakes. Leaving space invites attack. Either way, the outcome feels unavoidable. That sense of inevitability changes how people race him. They brake earlier, defend sooner, commit less. And those small concessions add up. Teammates have spoken openly about needing to rebuild their driving approach just to understand what Verstappen is doing. Even then, replicating it proved impossible. That gap isn't about effort, it's about comprehension. Verstappen makes cars do things they aren't designed to do, and then does it repeatedly, under pressure, without drama. Which is why his influence now stretches beyond results. Young drivers study Verstappen differently than past champions. His lines are analyzed, his throttle traces copied, his braking techniques simulated. Teams design setups to allow sharper rotation because he proved it works. He isn't just winning races, he's redefining what fast looks like. And the most worrying part for rivals, he's still evolving, calmer, more strategic, less emotional. The aggression remains, but it's refined. Every season, he removes another weakness, which brings us to the question every era-defining driver eventually faces. Formula One will change, it always does. New regulations, new cars, new constraints. History suggests these resets end dominance. Verstappen's history suggests the opposite. Every major shift has strengthened him because his advantage isn't dependent on one concept or one style. It's built on understanding, adaptability, and instinct. Unless the fundamental physics of racing change, he remains the benchmark. What you're watching isn't just speed, it's mastery. And if this is Verstappen at his peak, what happens when the sport changes again? And he adapts first. If you want the full breakdown of why the 2026 regulation reset could backfire, check out F1's Biggest Mistake: Why 2026 Will Ruin Racing. That video goes beyond official presentations and optimistic promises, and instead looks at what the rules actually change on track, car behavior, racing dynamics, and how much control drivers will really have.